Hello and welcome to Summerland Recording. My name is Max and thank you for joining me today for a quick walk through the home studio. Summerland has been open for just under 2 years now, and we are super excited to start our journey on YouTube and hopefully share a little bit about what we've learned along the way from running a studio from our home. Hope you enjoy the video. Alright, when we began putting the studio together, I was lucky enough to meet a fantastic producer named Tier Kahoot, who was working in the pro audio department of my local music store. We hit it off immediately and together began testing out as many preamps and compressors as we could get our hands on. If something cool came into the store, Tier would test it and give me his thoughts, and if I was able to, I would give it a test as well. After a year or so, we had landed on a great sounding versatile group of preamps and compressors that really suit all of our tracking and mixing needs here at Summerland. All of the outboard gear is sitting in a mastering style desk that my dad and I actually built together in our garage wood shop. We built it in the middle of winter for some reason in a non-heated garage, but I think the cold just gave us that much more motivation to get the job done, and now we have a really cool desk that keeps all the gear nice and tidy and accessible. I always like to have music close by, so next to the desk we have our record collection and turntable. We'll often put something on when we are taking a break during sessions or in between takes, just to give us a little bit of inspiration. Alright, moving into the live room, you'll notice that the walls and the ceiling are covered in acoustic panels. Like the desk, my dad and I decided to build the panels as opposed to buying them, one because of cost and two because it's way more fun to do it that way. Luckily this time we built all 70 of these panels in the summer and even had a custom jig that allowed us to pump out 15 to 20 of them a day, which was really great. It was important to me to create a warm and homey atmosphere, which is why I decided to use red fabric for the acoustic panels. I've been to so many studios that feel very gray and clinical, and I've always found it more difficult to feel comfortable and play well in those situations, so we tried to make the space as homey as we could. After getting them all hung, the room sounded dead enough that it produced a great recording, but still had a nice room sound as well. We keep most of the instruments in this room, as it is the largest room in the studio. Although I'm a guitarist by trade, I have a not-so-secret obsession with old keyboards, and I'm super fortunate to have a few here in the studio. The Rhodes we recently got from Paul's Boutique in Kensington Market in Toronto. Paul is a great guy and has a ton of vintage keyboards, guitars, and amps, and it's a super cool place. The organ I actually bought on Kijiji from a gentleman named Howard Stern. Not the Howard Stern, but that doesn't stop me from telling people I own Howard Stern's A100 organ. I always get a funny look back from that. The piano we actually had before we moved into this space, and I can tell you there is nothing more nerve-wracking than watching your piano being turned on its side, put on a sled, and dragged through the back garden to get it into the basement studio. It was successful though, and the piano was untouched and barely out of tune, which was amazing. We've recently acquired a Yamaha CS70 and a Yamaha DX7, which was actually given to me by my high school band teacher, Tom Layton, who is a fantastic musician and human being as well, so thank you so much for that, Tom. Moving into the third and final room, we have our vocal booth and drum storage. My twin brother Arlo is a drummer, which is awesome for me because it means I get to use his kits on recordings, which is really, really great. He has some amazing old kits from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, as well as a great snare collection, which all sound really, really awesome. This is the smallest and perhaps the quietest room in the studio, so we use it a lot for upright bass, vocals, and sometimes drums if we were looking for a dead kind of 70s sound, which works very well in this room. This concludes today's studio walkthrough. Again, my name is Max. Thank you so much for joining me for Summerland's first ever YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.